No problem. We don't want to do it again, right?
Okay, somehow we'll get through this. Okay. Added 5,000 for signage. That's what I have for notice. Okay. Okay, we have 6A, the senior center for CIP, $40,000. I'll make a motion for $40,000. This is an addition of $5,000 for signage. It was approved by the council. Your books might show 35, they added 5,000. And I'm making a motion.
I'm not going to second it. I'm going to make a lower motion. Sorry.
Did you second that motion, Sima?
No.
No.
No, I'm not going to second it. I'm going to make a lower motion.
It's going to what?
She's going to make a lower motion.
Oh, well, we have to motion on this first.
You don't have a second.
I don't have a second, so
I'm going to make a motion for $25,000.
we have a motion for 25,000. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, I'd like to speak to my motion. I put forth 25,000 because 10,000 of the original 35 was for signage to rebrand the senior center as Thrive 55. And to tell you the truth, I really don't think that's an essential use of my tax money. And so I am gonna, I'm happy that they can get a new carpet if they need that, but I will not pay for that sign. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I can't understand what she said.
She said she doesn't support the sign.
The 5?
The Thrive 55 sign, she doesn't support it. That's why she moved the lower number.
Can you guys turn up the volume in your room? Because I can hear fine. On your odd, maybe?
It's kind of a lot of bass, more bass than treble. That's the way I perceive it. Yeah.
Gary's got his hand up.
Gary?
Yes.
Yes?
You want me, can I speak now? Yes, I'll speak. The, this Thrive 55 thing, I haven't seen it yet where they don't say Thrive 55 Groton Senior Center. And I think we ought to give it a little time before anybody calls it Thrive 55. It just doesn't seem, it's almost like it has two names, and I don't see any other sign up there. I mean, I know they thought it was a great idea, and it might be. I'm supporting Simmons' number.
Any further discussion on that's the amendment to the original motion for $25,000? If not, we'll vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No. That passes. Yes. No. Okay. On to Town Hall Complex, 6C. 6C for $895,000 approved by the council.
This one is using ARPA funding.
Okay, this is using ARPA funding and seems pretty simple. I'll make a motion for $895,000 for the town hall complex. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a, okay,
Could we have
discussion.
just a little background on this project? Because it seems like a lot, and I'd just like to kind of understand it better. It sounds like you're replacing 2 boilers and associated domestic hot water heater. That's 800,000 of it. And what are those boilers running on? Is that, what's the fuel?
Right now, they're running on number 2 heating oil. And there's 2 boilers there now. They're 1977 vintage. One of them is actually failed and is out of service and would require very expensive repairs. So we're running the school on 1 boiler. So we're proposing to replace those 2 plus the big inefficient hot water tank with natural gas boilers, which are much more efficient and the cleanest of the fossil fuels, so to speak. And that it is an expensive project, but that's what these things cost for such a large building. So that's 800,000 to replace the 2 existing boilers and hot water heater with natural gas fired boilers.
So I guess my point of view on this is that I can't see spending almost $1 million on a fossil fuel technology. I think that, the town council made a statement last year that they were concerned about climate change. And to tell you the truth, I can't believe that the town continues to use fossil fuel when there are so many renewables that we could choose from. So I really got to say, I will not support this. I'd like to put a motion on the floor for $95,000.
We have a motion on the floor for $95,000. Do we have a second? We have no second. Motion fails. We go back to the original motion. Is there any further discussion? No further discussion?
Well, the only thing I would say is if you've been reading the paper, the town of Waterford has had a very full-bodied debate on putting in fossil fuel gas boilers in their town buildings. And, I feel that this is not the way of the future. And I can't believe that we have so many schools that we've built recently and have not at all even dipped into renewable energy. This town, they say they're concerned about climate change, but when push comes to shove, they're doing absolutely nothing about it.
All those in favor of the motion of $895,000? Gary?
I'm abstaining from this.
I say yes.
I say no. And the motion fails.
I'll determine that. We have a dead heat.
Okay.
What do we do now?
Now you need to find another number. You can move another number. I mean, or you can just say it was deadlocked. I mean,
I'll make my motion again. I'll make a motion for $95,000, which will pay for design. And maybe in the design phase, they can come up with a way to use a more renewable kind of energy.
I'll second that.
We have a motion to, for, how much was that, Sima?
$95,000. That includes $75,000 for a architect and $20,000 for some carpeting.
We have a second. Gary?
Yes, I second.
Okay, the rationale for that figure?
I just gave it. It's 75,000 for an architect and 20,000 for the town clerk's carpeting.
I'd like to ask what alternative fuel is a suggestion?
Well, I think that those air handling units are pretty good. There are some boilers that, you know, are, you know, use electric, and we could tap into rooftop solar to power that. We could also look at, you know, maybe geothermal, especially on new construction. In this case, it would probably be something else. I just don't see the feasibility of investing almost $1 million in a technology that is hopefully going to be out of date before you know it. The other thing I'll say is natural gas right now is not the cheapest way to go. That costs are fluctuating and they're going up, according to what I've read recently in Forbes.
I'd like to get some input from Public Works.
Well, we're just trying to replace, you know, keep the existing hot water system that heats the building, so we don't have to replace all that and just put in these new boilers. It's what the new schools went to. They are efficient. It's still cost-effective technology, you know, as far as what's available today.
Is electric available to us in this area at this time? Is there a time element we have to have this installed?
Well, I mean, we're taking a chance of, you know, the other boiler's not going to fail. I mean, right now we've got one boiler that's working. You know, if this one that's working fails, we're going to have very expensive repairs, or we're going to have to shut the building down.
No, there you have it. So we have a $95,000. Any further discussion?
In upstate New York, where they have cheap electric rates, they commonly use electric boilers to heat, for heating. But they got cheap electric rates. And electricity is more stable than natural gas or oil as far as price wise.
As far as this area goes, I think they're well advanced beyond us in that respect. And when we're going to be up to date, I can't tell you.
Well, I really have no idea as to what alternatives are available.
I don't think anybody does.
But
That's why we hired an architect at 75,000. They'll tell us.
How further down the road is that going to be?
So we'd hire them, it'd be a year, so it'd be next year we'd have to come back.
So we're going to be one more year down the road on this project. Is there any further discussion? I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of the number of $95,000?
Aye.
I,
We have 2 yes. I say no, 1 no. That passes at $95,000. Okay, 6D, Groton Public Library. $185,000 from capital reserve and other funds, I believe was ARPA, $125,000, for a total of $310,000.
And that's more than is in the book, right? Am I missing something?
This is the sheet that we received last night, approved by
Right.
council.
Yeah, the item for the cooling tower was increased $25,000 to $150,000 based on the bids we received recently.
What's a cooling tower for?
It's part of the air conditioning system. It's a critical component of it. If it's not there, the air conditioning system doesn't work. It basically takes the heat that is in the water that circulates through the air conditioning system and evaporates it out as the water falls down the coils.
there any further discussion?
Yes, I'd like to put another number on the floor. I'd like to put the number of 275. And that I'll wait till there's a second.
I'll second that.
We have a number of 275.
That number is the request without the $35,000 that's aimed at converting from oil to natural gas for the same rationale.
So you're saying 275, what's the difference between that and 310
$35,000.
for
The underground fuel tank.
the underground right here?
It looked like we're gonna have to remove that oil tank.
Those tanks are gonna have to be removed sometime.
Yeah, but this is, I don't mind removing it, but it says it's converting it to natural gas. And again, I just don't think this is the way of the future. I think we need to think about a sustainable future in the town of Groton that goes beyond fossil fuels.
So you're saying that you want them to continue on with oil heat, with oil fuel instead of natural gas?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we need to think out the box and when we replace that tank, we need to go to something that's not fossil fuel based.
Well, the tank has to come out anyways. It's reached its life expectancy. And it's gonna have to come out sooner or later. Either way, you're gonna spend $35,000 down the road to remove the tank. Gary?
Yeah, this is a little off the thing, but something worth looking into is a microgrid. Where there's the possibility of, I can't even think of what it's called, but but we can generate electricity at the sewage treatment plant and pump it up the hill, pump it to the municipal buildings up the hill and down the road.
What are you gonna do with the tank in the ground?
Could I ask Greg, how much of that cost of 35 is aimed at removing the tank and how much is converting it?
It's just the design for it. It's not the actual construction.
Okay.
That would be the following year. This is just to get the design for the replacement of whatever, heating source, presumably natural gas, and then the design for the removal of the tank. The tank has to be out by November of 24, which is what, a little over 2 years. It'll be 30 years old then. They have to come out. Otherwise, we have to do some very expensive end-of-life testing to keep it in, for a longer period.
We're talking-
It's not, I thought about it. It's fuel cells. You could make electricity off of swamp gas from the sewage treatment plant, and we can have our own microgrid to, but it's not something we're gonna be able to do this budget season.
No, but I would just prefer not voting on this and having it brought back to us and have it, have at least non-fossil fuels on the table. And apparently that's not the case here. And we really need to start switching to renewables.
The 35 is just for, design and consultant fees.
Yeah, to convert it to gas. If it said something different, I would, but I don't have any control over that line item the way it's written.
So are you still keeping your motion?
Yes,
Okay, we have a motion on the floor for 275,000. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
aye.
All those opposed? Aye,
I'll abstain.
okay. Yes. Joe, where do we fall now? We have 1 for and 1 against.
So that motion
That
fails.
fails.
Jill?
That
It
motion
fails.
fails.
Jill?
That motion fails,
Okay,
and you're gonna have to come up with another number.
we have to go back to the original motion.
No,
You just have to pick a new number. A number. The original number, $310,000, didn't pass, didn't fail. That had nothing. So that is a possibility. But 275,000 has failed. So it has to be a new number.
I will move another, then I'll move another number, 310,000, the original number. Is there a second? I have no second, so that,
I'll give you a second there. I'll leave you suffering.
I have a second on $310,000. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of $310,000? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
aye.
Abstain? Motion passes for $310,000. Okay,
Oh, by the way, that's fuel cell technology, and apparently they can do that at the sewer plant. I don't know exactly the details of it, but we could have a microgrid. We could look in that direction.
Six-eyed. Okay, we have Six-Eyed Golf Course Facilities Maintenance Building. This is just the maintenance building at the golf course. And we have, I have some notes here. 130,000, and I don't know where that comes in.
Well, the total is supposed to be 5.
Right. So this is $455,000 for construction from capital reserve.
No, this is a perfect one.
Oh, this has been given to ARPA funding. Okay, 6I. $455,000. We have a motion for $455,000 for golf course facilities, the maintenance building.
I'll second that.
Okay, I'll take the motion. And Wells seconds. Do we have any discussion?
Yeah, I do. I was under the impression that the golf course was to be self-sustaining. And so I was just wondering why these large investments in that.
This is John. They don't make enough for the CIPs there at the golf course, so they've not historically paid for CIPs. It's always been by the town proper.
How much did we, it's not on my CIP now, but how much did we invest in their windows and refrigeration unit in the last few years?
I don't know.
I could jump in here. Golf courses don't pay for themselves. They make the money. If you pick up a Tony magazine, you'll see ads for golf courses in Florida. They've got conference centers, they've got condominiums, they've got restaurant bars, and that's where the money is. In fact, Waterford has a pretty nice municipal golf course, and they have facilities for banquets and whatnot at Waterford. So the money is not in the course, it's in the restaurants and the facilities. In this case, the facilities are located in town. They're privately owned and not part of the course. And this restroom thing they're talking about, that's the one that was the old outhouse that we kicked around for 5 years and could never get a bid for it. In this case, they're just going to hook it up to sewer and water, and we won't be pumping and we won't be pumping it out and have the maintenance. We're gonna put a proper indoor restroom heated.
I understand it's in close proximity to the maintenance facility with the pipes and electricity.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Roscoe?
I understand that it's in close proximity to the maintenance building for the necessity of sewer, water, and electrical. I was under the impression at one time when this discussion started that it was on the far side of the golf course and not so. So I think the location is appropriate.
Greg,
I've
could
lost-
you-
I know it's confusing. It doesn't really fit with the maintenance building, but it's in such close proximity. And it's been asked for quite, how long, Gary?
Oh, God, I don't know. It was years. I remember Chris Conley was the Democratic floor leader at the time that the thing went through, was approved.
Okay, is there any further discussion?
Yes, I do have, I'm just curious about the bathroom at 130. How many stalls is that? Is that a men's and women's?
Yes, it's a men's and women's, it's a standalone building. As Chairman Merritt said, right alongside the maintenance building where the utilities are, which is the 8th hole. This is the area that we've always, the golfers have always desired to have a restroom here, kind of halfway through the course. So there is a separate men's and women's room, single stall.
So it's 2 stalls. So
Yeah.
when we did Sutton Park's restroom last year, we decided that we would just go with a single stall that could be either, men or women, and that cut it down to about 50,000, I thought, 56 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get a substantial savings because the cost is in the utilities bring to the building. And the building size itself wouldn't become that much smaller. You're not going to get any significant savings to go to one stall.
Toilets are cheap. It's the plumbing that's running the water and the sewer. That's where the money is.
When we were at Sutton Park, though, they cut it in half, I thought. Do you remember that, Greg? Could you tell us?
They did cut that one down, but then since then we've got a state grant and it's going back to the bigger size now.
I thought those things had to be authorized by the RTM.
The RTM wouldn't go for Sutton Park because they thought that much for a bathroom. It's just a toilet and a sink, not realizing, you've got to run sewer and water out to where the sewer line is. And it's just like, gosh, I could put a bathroom in my house for blah, blah, where you already have sewer and water.
Is there any further discussion? We have a number of $455,000. We have a motion and a second, I believe. No
I'm,
further.
oh.
Yes, Gary.
Oh, no, go ahead, go ahead.
We'll move on that number, $455,000. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3 in favor, all opposed? Abstain? So moved. Okay. Now we go on to 6K. Golf course facilities. This is the clubhouse. $25,000. And this was ARPA funding. I'll make a motion for $25,000. Do I have a second?
And Greg, can you remind me, this was left in by council because it's considered a tripping hazard, is that right? It was a safety issue?
Yes, this is to replace the red tiles that are around the grocery shop. Because they've been there for 25, 30 years and they are all lifting off the
Right.
walkways, so it's a tripping hazard.
Right.
So they did cut the 50,000 the landscaping, but they left this in.
Yeah.
Well, I'll second that so we can move along.
Do we have a motion? Any discussion?
Yes, I have a question. I just have to close my door because there's a lot of noise all of a sudden. Sorry.
Oh, look, she's running off into the woods.
Sorry. I was just curious, the pro shop is super small. 25,000 seems exorbitant.
This is
I mean,
for
how
the-
many square feet is the pro shop?
This is for the walkways outside. This is exterior, stairs, walkways, that's outside the pro shop. Because when the golfers have their spikes, they can't walk on the concrete. So they have.
How
these
many
rubber
feet is
tiles.
that?
I don't have the square footage.
Is there any further discussion? I'll ask for a vote on $25,000. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Pass, abstain? 6K. That passes 2 yes.
Yeah, Greg, could you, for the RTM meeting, would you be able to give us like a little more information on how many linear or square feet that's covering?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thanks.
Okay, we're on to 6M. Police. This is for. See how much?
This one was increased.
This one was increased by the council to 310,000.
250,000.
Oh. So it originally was 310,
No, it was originally 260
260.
and was increased 50,000. The LoSiP portion went from 250.
Yeah.
Could, what did they add with that extra $50,000 or, yeah, 50?
That was for material, all the cost increases we're seeing due to inflation. And luckily, we had 50,000 remaining in LoSiP state dollars.
You know, specifically for the locker room ventilation improvements, in the middle locker rooms, just as John said, the material cost increase has just gone up since we did the estimate.
Do you think that'll hold good, Greg?
Yes, I think, we put some inflationary factors in there, so I think we're good.
Looks to me like they're moving up the 50,000 for fiscal year 24 for the HVAC renovations and a replacement of an existing built. Is
That's
that-
that's just a coincidence.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to put another number on the floor. 285,000.
We have a motion of $285,000. Do we have a second? No second, that fails.
Okay.
Go
Mr.
back
Chair,
to
my-
number 310. Jill?
Just for clarification, LoCIP money, if we don't use it, do we lose it at some point? Like, is there a time limit on that money?
No, we don't lose it. It just stays in our bank account, so to speak, with the state, and just keeps rolling over every year.
Thank you.
And just to mention, this has been looked at since before I got here. The women's locker room was redone and the men's is in terrible shape. I don't know who all's taken a tour of it, but it's bad. It's pretty bad. And Greg spent quite a bit of time pricing things out.
So my problem with this is, again, the reason for my motion was because we're replacing underground fuel oil and diesel tank with the same thing, which is above ground, and then designing a boiler conversion to natural gas. And I really do not think that fossil fuels should be something we're investing, money in at this point. I think we need to, when we, the way to make the transition to a sustainable future where we're not overridden by a climate that humans can't actually live in, is to actually start spending our money to go towards renewables and non-fossil fuels, so we're not generating greenhouse gases. And I don't think that natural gas is the way to go. It's a volatile market right now. It's only going to go up. And the war in Ukraine has helped that along. And I don't think it's fiscally responsible, and it's certainly not environmentally responsible.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'd like to ask Greg a question. Greg, these tanks at a certain point in time have to be out of the ground irregardless of what we supply for fuel.
Correct. I mean, the end of life is coming up, like I said, 2024, which is in a couple of years. So we're just looking at getting design funds to start, that design work, that process, getting these out and converting over to gas.
So you want to remove the tank, be able to have fuel at the same time, in other words.
Well, we got to replace the boilers. You can't run boilers on gas.
Yeah.
So we put new boilers in, take the tanks out, we're required to do, and that will be in a couple of years. So just getting the design funds now so we can keep the process moving along.
But
Didn't you
how-
say, Greg, you could look at different alternatives when you do this?
Well, I mean, there is a mechanism that you can extend the life of the tanks through testing process if they qualify. We took a quick look at these, and it looks like they do qualify. So it could, if we do some annual testing, which it's not super cheap, but it can be done.
Right.
We could keep them in the ground a little bit longer.
If memory serves me, we committed to purchasing natural gas from Eversource in exchange for them running the pipe up the road and putting the gas line in place. So if we don't buy the gas, we'll have to pay we'll have to reimburse them for the cost of putting the pipes in the ground. I don't know how much, if it's all the way down Groton Long Point Road down to but we've made it, there was a commitment made, and that we have a certain amount of time to use to start buying natural gas from them.
Yeah, no, Gary, we did convert the highway garage over to gas a couple of years ago. And it's in Groton Long Point Road just to our facility. It doesn't go any further south.
Well, we have a motion on the floor for $285,000.
No, that failed, I think, didn't it?
Okay, that failed. We're going back to $310,000. I'll make that motion. Do I get a second?
I'll second that. Oscar.
I
There
think,
is- My rationale is that win, lose, or draw, that tank has to come out of the ground, and I'd rather, the tried and true method to me would be to take the tank out instead of annually testing it and spending the money to test it. And there's a point in time where it'll have to come out anyways. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
opposed,
One. Two yes. Abstain? One no. You're abstaining for $310,000. Okay, Town 6N is the Town Hall Annex Complex. This is the old Fitch Middle School. Oh, it's this building right here. Oh, okay.
Right.
That's what- Okay,
And I would like to mention this is considered critical. It's miserable for the staff due to moisture issues. We get a lot of complaints about it, and I'm surprised we haven't started getting union grievances yet.
You know, we're currently replacing the air conditioning units for community rooms 1, 2, and 3. Right now, the contract is working, and this is funding for design for the staff office area, which is behind us here, to upgrade the HVAC there to bring the humidity levels down and increase cooling in certain offices to get really hot.
this humidity is affecting other than just the staff. It's
What impact
the building and the electronics also.
Yeah, paper, copy papers, and copiers and printers don't work too good. And, you know, it affects a lot of things.
That being said, 6N. I'll make a motion for $25,000 for CIP 6N.
Second.
Gary's the second.
and I understand from Mr. Burke that this is, urgent, and I will, I hope that when you do this design, that you will think about air handling units for your HVAC system. I hope that can be in the mix. I think just going with, the same old, and upgrading it is not the way. I think those air handling units can go both heat and cool, and they're very efficient. And you can get EPA rebates for them too.
Is there any further discussion? I'll vote. We'll vote for $25,000 for 6N. All those in favor?
Aye.
3 yes. Opposed? Abstain? Okay. Where do we wander now?
We go down to the bottom,
10B. Okay, we're on 10B. Is in your book is 246, water pollution facility. I won't say what Carl Almquist used to say.
I'll put a
Okay.
motion on the floor for 1.2 million for CIP 10B pump stations.
I'll second that motion. Anybody discussion? Right.
this is all paid for by the sewer user fees. We have $1 million associated with the upgrade of the Mumford Cove pump station to our major pump stations. It's original pumps and motors and that thing, so we're going to much more energy efficient pumps, EFD drive motors. Just replacing some very antiquated equipment there. And we also have $200,000 for design and bid documents for the replacement of the Burgess Park pump station, which is one of our smaller ones. Actually, it's a steel can that goes in the ground and it's rotting away. And guys, it's almost getting to the point where we can't even send guys in there to work on it. So that one definitely needs to be replaced. So those two projects total 1.2 million.
Any more discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote on 10B for $1,200,000. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Abstain? So passes 3 yes. No opposed, no abstain. Okay, 10C, treatment facility, $800,000. Somebody
I'll
want
put
to
a motion on the floor for 800,000 for 10C treatment facility.
10C?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? Want to give us a brief rundown?
Sure. This is to replace an emergency generator that's original to the treatment facility from 1973. This generator has been out of service for probably over a year now. We've tried many different repair attempts to get this thing working. It's just not working. So we're looking to just replace this generator in kind. This is a backup generator when the power goes out to run the plant. So it's a critical piece of equipment, obviously.
Any discussion or further discussion? Okay, we'll vote on 10C for $800,000. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
3 yes, all opposed? None, abstained, none. Okay. Now we get to account number 2020.
I'll put a motion on the floor for account 2020 sewer operating fund in the amount of 8,069,597.
I'll second that.
Okay. Let's see, account 2020. $869,000. 597.
Yep.
We have a motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? This is your standard operating budget.
Yeah, this is, this budget is completely paid for by the sewer user fees.
Okay.
And it has quite a large increase this year because the CIPs, which are paid for out of this budget, went up substantially from last year. We went up from like $400,000. We didn't do any major pump station upgrades last year, so this year we are. As we just discussed, we've got, whatever that 1.2 plus 8, it's almost $2 million. So that's the primary cause for the increase in this budget this year. Other things are some, just the price of electricity has gone up, the inflationary supply costs have gone up. So all those together just is causing the increase in this budget. But again, it's all paid for by user fees.
Could you just speak a little louder? I'm sorry. I heard you say electricity. What did you say went up beyond that?
Just normal material supplies, chemicals that we use at the plant, just all inflationary increases.
So
price.
It looks like about $1 million is coming out of the fund balance, is that correct? 985?
Yeah, the fund balance, we're using about 500,000 out of, we have a capital reserve fund balance, and then it's close to about $1 million out of the operational fund balance.
Any further discussion?
I'm just curious, would you consider raising like the fees, or you just think this is a one-off?
We are, the sewer authority is the one that reviews these, and, I do the expenditure budget, they approve that, council. And then when we go back to the sewer authority next month, we'll discuss, potentially a slight increase in the user fees. Right now, the residential is $34.50 a month, so they're thinking just going up like 50 cents a month, 35,000, and commercial would go up correspondingly. That'll, that equals about $100,000 in additional revenue.
Does this include the nitrogen credits that you have to buy?
We budget for that, but we haven't had to. We've been doing a good job with keeping our nitrogen levels below our limits, so we have not had to buy nitrogen.
That's good.
This is
Kudos.
time in quite a while, isn't it?
Can you sell nitrogen credits too?
Yeah, we do get a check once in a while from the state. It's not a lot, but we do get some money from the state because we do better than our limit.
It's pretty good. Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's quite an improvement.
Yeah, our process that we have going at the plant does a good job getting through the nitrogen.
Any further discussion? Sima?
No, that's, where would that be, like, if you got money from the state, it would be in the financing plan, would it be under miscellaneous unclassified, or where would that be?
Let me just go, what page is that on?
Page 113?
113. Unclassified. Oh, payment from the funds.
It'd be under, the miscellaneous unclassified.
Okay, thanks. I'm done. We can vote from my point of view unless Gary or someone else has questions.
Okay, let's move on to, we'll vote on $8,069, $8,069,597. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? 3 yes. No opposition, no abstain. And now we'll move on to account number 2030, solid waste. Page 117 in your book.
I'll put a motion on the floor for account 2030 solid waste fund in the amount of $1,549,594.
I'll second that.
Oh, okay. 3, okay, $1,549,594. 49, that's really a very moderate increase. Is that?
It's actually a decrease this year.
Oh, a decrease.
Yeah, this is
Yes, it is.
This is actually what we call a pass-through budget, where the haulers that haul garbage going to the waste energy plant in Lisbon, and then SCARA subsidizes that, so we pay $59.25.
Yeah, we're gonna go up to 59.25.
Yeah, we're gonna go up to $59.25 a ton in July. And then, so we pay SCARA, and then the haulers that haul the material up there reimburse us. So it's really, because they can't, they're not part of SCARA,
Right.
the town is, so we have to kind of do it this way.
Any discussion? Any further discussion? No?
Just a question. Whatever became of the waste to energy in Preston?
The waste to energy plant is still functioning in Preston.
Oh.
So SCARA owns the property and Covanta has the plant. So they have a lease for that. They did not provide SCARA with a favorable tipping fee, so we opted to go to Lisbon.
Oh,
We get better tipping fee.
Any further discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote on $1,549,594. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. 3 yes. Any opposed? Abstain? That passes. And now, is there any other part of that? Okay. Count number 6040, Fleet Reserve, page 121 in your book. Which will go on to the, there it is, sheet is 125. And that is in the amount of
Greg, could you tell us which of these vehicles are being purchased for that amount? On the list on 125?
Yep. There's down at the bottom. There's 4 police patrol vehicles, for $50,000 each. The police, we have not provided them with new patrol vehicles for the last 2 years. They're in desperate need to get these vehicles replaced. They're 2014, 2015 model years, over 100,000 miles. We have 4 vehicles for them. We have a van for the senior center. It's a 2012 van that we're replacing. This is getting reimbursed 80% for a federal grant, which we've already received. The next vehicle is an international triaxle. This is a large dump truck that Public Works has. It's a 1987 vehicle with about 170,000 miles on it. This thing actually is our last large dump truck with a standard transmission, and I've only got a couple guys with CDLs that can drive this thing. And it's in tough shape, so we're looking, we can't get parts for it. They're very difficult to get parts, not impossible for this thing. So we're looking to replace that. There's a Mason dump for parks maintenance. It's a 1997 GMC. We're just buying the chassis. We'll transfer the body over. It's $35,000. And then a 2004 riding mower for parks maintenance. We're replacing with a new Z mower for $20,000. So all those vehicles total up to $505,000.
And then,
If you're looking at the sheet on 125, there's a little bit of a typo there. There's a vehicle shown that's for 190 for police admin. That should be taken out. And the vehicle above it, the 190, 1987 International, that's the truck we're looking at. So from that truck down to the bottom are all the vehicles we're looking at.
the PWRNS, that's in this bucket?
Correct.
Is that the international triaxle?
Correct.
Okay,
Now, is this number, the correct number here, $1,313,690?
Yes, the council approved it.
so I realize that fuel is a little more expensive, but are your people driving, as the town employees driving more miles? Because it's gone up really, $110,000, $15,000. The fuel.
Oh, the fuel. Yes, the fuel's going up. About $128,000 because, the amount of fuel is not changing, but the price that we locked in at last year was around $1.80, and we're budgeting about $2.90 for this coming year, based on our discussions with the consortium that we're a member of. So that's, over $1 a gallon increase, and when we're talking, over 100,000 gallons, that adds up. So the short answer to the question is no, we're not driving anymore. It's still, unless we have a lot of snow plow events or something like that. But
I just came across the current event, actually. Either yesterday or today, I was told that for some strange reason, even though we are in a tax-free area right now till about June, all of a sudden the fuel went up 30 cents in this area per gallon. And I don't know why. Well, I can assume why, but I can't answer why. It's unreal how we can keep track of this. So
I was gonna put a motion on the floor for $1,315,190 for account 6040 fleet.
What
Can
was
you say
that
it
number?
again?
Can you say that number again, Summer?
Yes, I have a motion for account 6040 fleet reserve fund in the amount of $1,315,190.
$190? Or 690?
no, she increased it.
Oh, you increased it.
No, I'm looking at the. No.
Yes, you increased it by.
This is the number in the book, and did the town council lower it?
The council approved the number that's $1,313,690.
Can you tell me why it's a little lower then?
Where are you seeing it lower?
Oh, you know what, there's a typo.
Oh, no. The request was,
Yeah,
Your original request.
sorry.
Your-
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion. Let me make it again. Sorry. I'm gonna make a motion for $1,313,690 for account 6040 fleet reserve. Sorry, my mistake.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion? No discussion being said? I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? That passes 3 yes. No opposed, no abstain.
I have a motion to adjourn.
Second. Do I get a vote? Yes? Okay. We're adjourned.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Stacy.
You're welcome.
7:10.
Have a good night.
Good night, Jill. Thank you.
Good night, Jill.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Harry.
Thank you.
And everyone.
Thanks, John.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Don't. Disappearing.